أهلا بكم أعزائي المشاهدين في هذه الحلقة من منتدى الشباب. اليوم حلقة خاصة عن العمل التطوعي في مجتمعاتنا العربية. بالعادة ما في هالحس التطوعي جدا بين الشباب. بالعادة بيشوفوا الشباب كأنهم ناس كسولين، ناس مش مهتمين بالمجتمع اللي حواليهم. ولكن في كندا المجتمع الشاب بالذات فيه حس التطوع هذا، فسواء كانت من خلال الأنظمة الكندية اللي بتحفزهم على التطوع أو من خلال الإعلام اللي بيدعيهم للتطوع هذا، الشباب مربوطين جدا بفكرة التطوع والعمل التطوعي، وهم قلب هذا المجتمع المتطوع. فهذا الشيء بيساعدهم جدا على اكتشاف ذاتهم والانضمام إلى المجتمع. فلهيك موضوع خاص احنا حبينا انه نجيب ضيفة خاصة اسمها مريم علي، ونخليها هي، وأنا نفسي أخليها هي اللي تحكي عن تجربتها معنا، تجربتها بالتطوع. أهلا. معنا طبعا جمان برضو، التنتين رح يحكوا لنا عن تجربتهم ويحكوا معنا في الموضوع. أهلا فيكم. أنت سامعتنا؟
لا، صوتك كثير عم بيقطع.
سامعتني هلا؟
Yeah. Can you hear us?
أوكي. أوكي. مريم، احكي لنا شوي عن حالك.
So my name is Meriem. I'm 21 years old. Currently in my
استني شوي. حاولي تقربي الميكروفون عندك.
يعني كده أحسن. Okay. So my name is Meriem. I'm in my fourth year at University of Ottawa. I'm studying political science. I'm 21 years old, and I lead some volunteer initiatives in Ottawa.
إيش هاي الفولنتيرز initiatives اللي أنت بتقوديها؟
I lead an organization called Sidra Treehouse that is meant to mentor newcomers in Ottawa. So I lead that with a couple of my friends, and Juman is involved in that program. We also lead food relief effort because of COVID-19 in Ottawa as well. And I'm currently working with the Ottawa Mosque. I'm on the board, alhamdulillah.
You founded Sidra Treehouse. Why did you decide on starting such a volunteer thing?
When I was 17, I used to work at the mosque, and it was when there was a influx of refugees from Syria. So what would happen is that the schools would call the mosque basically complaining about the adjustment that a lot of newcomer children had to face. And so my boss at the time, while I was working at the mosque, would tell me about these issues. And I remember when I was a child and it would cause a lot of problems, something that helped me was when I had, a mentor or someone older that was there to listen and talk to me. So I thought it would be a good idea to bring a bunch of kids that are my age to go speak to the young kids and show them that it is possible to be Muslim, Arab, and living in Canada and still have that identity, but also be able to integrate.
Okay, so I'm
That's
just
it,
gonna
sorry.
take a minute to try to translate it.
Oh, you have to translate? Okay.
No, but someone asked,
Oh,
so
okay, sorry.
we're just gonna do it real quick. Okay. فالسبب هو ليش بلشت برنامج سيدرا تري هاوس بالذات هو لأنه كان في ب 2017 2017 كان في كتير Syrian refugees سوريين دخلوا البلد مشان الأوضاع اللي كانت ببلدهم، وقعدوا بالمدارس كانوا عم بيشكوا للمسجد إنه الأولاد مشاغبين وعم بيعملوا مشاكل وما بعرف إيش. والمشكلة إنه هن ما كانوا هيك، بس هن لأنه الوضع كان صعب عليهم، مش عارفين الايدنتيتي تبعهم بكل المشاكل اللي هن كانوا فيها، والتيتشرز ما كانوا قادرين يتواصلوا ويفهموا الأولاد منيح. فوصلت الشكوى للمسجد، والمسجد حكوا مع شوي ناس أصغر مشان يحاولوا يفهموا الأولاد. فمريم قررت إنه لو في ناس قدها وصغار ويقدروا يفهموا الأولاد أحسن، وأكتريتنا اللي بنشتغل مع الأولاد immigrants ففاهمينهم وفاهمين المشاكل اللي عم بتصير معهم، إنه هن وضعهم أصعب منا، بس نقدر نتفاهم شوي أكتر. فبلشت البرنامج بمساعدة المسجد. فالمسجد هو الفounder.
Yeah.
Mariam, what was the reason for you to join volunteering initiatives? Why did you start volunteering in the first place?
Okay, do you want me to say it in English or in my broken Arabic? Because I feel bad.
Whichever you're more comfortable with.
Do broken Arabic and you can say some words in English.
Okay. لما كنت صغيرة مامتي كانت دايما بتاخدني على أماكن like محتاجين مساعدة. ف I would always I love to keep busy in general. So she would always like drag me to these volunteering initiatives where مثلا setting up a table at a picnic or setting up a sale for consignments and stuff like that. So ever since I was very young, my mom.
What's consignment?
Consignment sales are when you're from like a lower income family, لما تكونوا like مش غنيين. Okay, don't laugh. Okay,
I
never
love
mind.
that translation.
When you're not rich and you can't really afford to buy new things all the time, what people do is that they take the stuff that they have and then they sell it to other people that also can't afford new stuff. And so, for example, you buy something for $2 and then you sell it for $1 like after a year. So that's how we always were able to have like new toys and stuff like that. So I'd always go and like organize all the books and organize all the toys and ever since I was like really young, like 8 or 9. So yeah, it kind of stayed with me that we should always like if anyone ever needs help, you have to be there to do anything you can to just make their life a little bit easier. So yeah, ever since I was younger, it's just a thing.
انت حكيتي لنا عن انك انت الفاوندر تاع سدرا، وحكيتي لنا انك بتشتغلي مع الكوفيد ريليف وكمان بتشتغلي مع الأطوى من ماسك. ايش الاشياء اللي بتشتغليها هناك؟ ايش شغلك معاهم بالضبط؟
So كل حاجة في حاجة مختلفة like عن التاني. So for سدرا أنا بمسكها مع حد تاني اسمه مؤمن، وإحنا الاتنين بندير البرنامج. يعني لازم نشوف العيال محتاجين إيه ونظبط accordingly. So مثلا لما حصل الكوفيد نقلنا online، وبعدين لقينا إن شوية من العيال كانوا عايزين يعني نشوف أي skills عندهم. فواحدة من الفولunteers بتاعتي برضه اسمها مريم she proposed إن احنا نبدأ coding program معاهم. And then دلوقتي هنرجع back in person. So جمان عاملة دلوقتي registration عشان العيال يجوا تاني. So kind of providing direction for volunteers and hoping that they have a place where they can give their own opinions. So كمان دايما like buying the supplies, going every week, recruiting new volunteers. للأروى كوفيد بروجرام أنا بشتغل مع صاحبتي سمية وبرضه مع مؤمن. إحنا الثلاثة بندير البرنامج عشان نميك شور إن أي حد مش قادر ياخد، مش عنده أكل أو مش عنده حاجات هايجين يعني يكون عندهم في just in case they can't go out by themselves عشان عندهم مثلا health problems or financial problems, they don't have a car. So for that I kind of help out with requests. So لما يجي حد يطلب من على جوجل فورم بروح divert it or بساعد أعمل or بساعد نعمل البوكسز نفسها. I'm just gonna switch to English because this is gonna take forever. But the third thing is the Ottawa Mosque. I actually just started recently. I used to work through Sidra for the Ottawa Mosque since 2017, but now I'm on the board and I'm experiencing this new position of seeing what programs the community wants and making sure that people find more, like people start returning to the mosque as like a community center, as like the main area in your life, because that's how it was back in the Prophet ﷺ's time. So that's what we're trying to revive right now with the masjid, inshallah.
What are some specific skills do you feel you need for these positions?
I feel like if you just have like a feeling that you want to do something more, that should be enough. That's enough to get anyone started, because I wasn't born with any of these skills. I don't have anything that's different than anyone else. I'm just the same as like everyone else. So there's no particular skill, as long as like you can speak to people and you can have patience, you can join any project, and if you work hard enough, you can like rise in the ranks, and then you can eventually figure out what other people want and start something of your own. So it doesn't really require skill. I feel like you learn that with every job that you take, because with Sidra, it's different than the mosque, it's different than with the Yomoji. It's all stuff that you have to learn on the fly.
You said that you started volunteering with your mom.
Yeah.
Okay, some people don't have that. Their parents aren't really involved with the community وما بيعملوا volunteering.
hmm
Um,
So
do you think, is it ever too late to start, or
لا
do you think it's harder if you're older?
لا أنا بعمل volunteering مع ناس عندهم like 50 60 سنة، يعني ناس قاعدين على البورد like بيقربوا على 70 سنة ما شاء الله. فأنا حاسة إن كتير من الأهالي بيقولوا إن هم محتاجين عيالهم يكونوا like أحسن ناس، عايزينهم يعملوا volunteering، دايما يعني يعملوا كل حاجات دينية on time and perfectly. بس then ساعات للأسف مش بيكون هناك مع الأهالي. like مثلا ما ينفعش إن أنت تقولي لحد إن أنت عايزه like يروح يعمل volunteering and then you're not volunteering. It's very one-sided, and you should lead with example. So alhamdulillah, I was very fortunate that my parents led with example. يعني هم كانوا what's an example? هم كانوا
الرول موديل.
الروم اوكي، هم كانوا الناس اللي انا كنت بتابعهم. So المفروض ان either the parents connect them to kids that do the same thing, or they lead as well, and it's never too late no matter how old you are.
حكيتي لنا عن السكيلز اللي انت كان لازم تكتسبيها عشان تقدري توصلي لكل هاي البوزيشنز. من وين لقيتي هاي السكيلز؟ ايش أعدك لهاي البوزيشنز؟
Honestly, I don't know where I have these decisions. I'm gonna be honest. I don't know. Just very, it's I think it's I just, you need to be always available and open to new experiences. يعني a lot of people, they're comfortable with what they know. هم عارفين اللي هم عارفينه، هم عايزين يستمروا فيه. بس المفروض ان انت ما تكونش like مبسوط بحياتك زي ما هي. لازم دايما تبص عشان التغيير، ولازم تشوف مثلا دينيا like احنا كلنا like we're not doing what the best that we can. So لازم دايما نبص قدام، يعني what next, what better thing can I do. So الحمد لله يعني ربنا رزقني ان انا اكون في in these positions. بس in terms of skills, I think one of the things that I'm still learning to this day is patience. إن لازم تكون like very very patient، عشان لما تبدأ في حاجة يعني دايما عندنا mentality لما أبدأ لازم أنا اللي أكون like رئيس الموقف، like لازم أكون leading everyone. بس that's not true. إحنا هنا عشان نساعد ناس، مش عشان نبين نفسنا أحسن من كل حد، إن إحنا like ما شاء الله this title ما شاء الله that title. So basically humbling yourself, making sure that your intentions أنت بتعمله لربنا مش عشان أي حاجة تانية. و إن like yeah تكون صبورة.
Yeah,
صبورة. I'm gonna say صبورة.
I think it's
I guess okay. Sorry.
هل في رأيك الفولنتيرنج مش للكل؟
yeah الأهل بيحبوا إنه يكونوا القدوة الحسنى
Yeah
لأولادهم.
yeah
So
دايما yeah إن شاء الله.
هل في رأيك الفولنتيرنج لكل الناس ولا في ناس ما بتقدر تعمله؟
يعني حاجة like amazing بالإسلام الحمد لله، إن إحنا عندنا حاجات كتيرة ممكن نعملها عشان نوصل لربنا. مثلا في ناس أحسن عشانهم يقرأوا القرآن، ناس تانية الصلاة يعني أحسن حاجة عشانهم، صيام، يعني في حاجات كتيرة. فليا أنا بحس إن التطوع، العمل التطوع هو الأحسن حاجة عشاني أنا، عشان كده استمرت فيه. ودايما يعني بشتغل على الحاجات التانية برضو. بس في ناس هو يكون أقوى عشانهم، يكون أسهل عشان يعملوا كده. يعني أنا أسهل لي إن أنا أروح مثلا أساعد حد، أوصله مكان أو أشتري له أشياء. وممكن ناس تانية يلاقوا إن هو أسهل عشان مثلا يصلوا ركعتين عشان ربنا. So في الأعمال الدينية الأسهل عشانهم بتختلف. فبس أنا عارفة like من جواي I've worked with like a huge amount of people like من بداية الناس اللي مثلا ما عمرك تفتكر إن هم عايزين يساعدوا ناس، للناس اللي شكلهم like أحسن like kindest people in the world. I've worked with all these people and it kind of showed me that everyone can volunteer and in ways everyone does volunteer. يعني أنت ما بتحسش بس ممكن مثلا your next door neighbor يكون محتاج مثلا منك لبن أو sorry حليب أو منك sugar. يعني أنت لما تديله هذا عمل تطوع، لما بتبتسم للناس بالشارع ده كده charity برضو عمل تطوع. so إحنا كلنا بنعمل عملات تطوعية، بس ممكن في ناس يعني يكملوا ويشوفوا their leadership positions in that way. Sorry, I talk a lot. Just stop me.
That's fine, please do. الناس بالعادة بتحكي إنه volunteering هو إنه الناس يعني تعطي وما بتاخد وما بوصلها أي إشي، أنت بس عم تعطي وقتك ومش عم بوصلك إشي. هل في رأيك الvolunteering في الvolunteer نفسه إيش بيكتسب من الvolunteering هذا؟
Okay, so أول حاجة إحنا we're lucky إن إحنا نكون في position إن إحنا نعمل عمل تطوع. فمن البداية إحنا عندنا a very special unique chance إن إحنا نعمل عمل خير. فده من الأول like أنت عندك طريقة أنت عم تاخد فيها أجر كبير جدا من ربنا. That in itself is like a huge reward that like you cannot overlook. then تاني حاجة إن أساسا في ناس scientists عملوا these studies and Juman can probably talk on this too. إن لما أنت your happiness مش بتيجي من ممكن المال تساعد حياتك تكون أسهل، بس مش بتيجي منها السعادة، والناس مش بيجي لك منها سعادة. هو عشان أنت تساعد أشخاص وتخليهم هم مبسوطين. That's where you get your happiness from. That's where the greatest level of happiness is from. So مثلا I sometimes have like really rough weeks and يكون أسبوع صعب جدا عليا، كان عندي شغل كتير، عندي مدرسة. بعدين أنا بقول like خلاص مش عايزة أروح على سترة على ساندي، يعني خلاص أنا تعبانة عايزة أقعد بالبيت وأتفرج على التلفزيون. بس بعدين جمان تيجي تقول لي لا أنتي جاية وتاخدني like بالحجاب للعربية وتسوق على دونالد ستريت and then بروح أشوف العيال وبس يعني ابتساماتهم like بتريح القلب يعني completely. So
we miss them لما ما نشوفهم أسبوع.
yeah
يعني كأنه في إشي ناقص.
خالص exactly. So the person that's helping is in the best possible position because you're gaining so much from something that people in general don't think that you're gaining anything from.
I'm gonna speak as a side note
Go
about
for it.
this. في like research حوالين the statement بتحكي do good feel good. ففي it comes both ways. when you feel good لما تكون حاسس like إنك مبسوط ومنيح وهيك تعمل أشياء خيرية. وبعدين it comes كمان the opposite way لما تعمل إشي خيري حتى وأنت like تعبان ومش مبسوط it actually causes happiness to you. It's like a cycle. So you do good, you feel good, you feel good, you do good. And multiple research, they prove that statement.
مريم، إيش بدك تحكي لواحد قاعد بيبدأ في الفولنتيرنج تاعه أو بده يبدأ بس مش عارف وين يبدأ أو مع مين يبدأ؟ إيش بتحكي لهم؟
So أول حاجة لو أنا آسفة أنا عارفة الصوت يمكن يكون شوية صعب على ناس، بس أول حاجة تعمله إن أنت تشوف المسجد اللي جنبك اللي أنت عايش جنبه.
non-Muslims كمان.
Oh, sorry
churches.
for non-Muslims. You can look for مثلا the city. There's always programs that are happening بالcity وكمان بالمسجد ما شاء الله. So you go, you ask if there's anything that you can help with, and then even if you're there, see if there's anything that you can help with in the moment. وحاجة you need to keep in mind is ما تخليش أي حد discourage you. مثلا a lot of the times people forget إن ال volunteering بيبدأ في البيت. يعني ما ينفعش حد يروح يطلع يعمل كل حاجة برا and then سايب البيت يعني يتحرق like خلاص ما فيش أي حاجة like being taken care of at home. Like the mom is cooking and cleaning and doing everything by herself. The dad is working all the time and no one's appreciating it. So you need to start at home and then go look outside as soon as home is good and it's complete. I'm trying. I'm literally yelling.
Sorry.
It's okay. Can you guys still hear me? Is it good? No?
I can hear you.
Okay. So yeah, so start at home, and then when that is good and you kind of get the okay from your parents, head to your masjid, head to your city, look online, and find something that you actually will be interested in. Don't force yourself to be like, oh, I love kids, and inside, if a kid cries in front of you, you want to kill everyone involved. Like you need to figure out what you actually want to do, and do it. Because inshallah أول ما بتبدأ ربنا بيسهل ال path. God makes the path easy for you. And if you're in Ottawa, like if you know Juman, just ask her. And honestly, there's so many projects we can set you up with, inshallah.
Not only Ottawa, if anyone wants to start any volunteering program, just message me and Mariam
Yeah.
will both help you try to get it started.
Yes, inshallah.
Like doesn't matter which
هون
city you're from.
الموقع تاع السيتي اوف اوتوا، هون كل الفولنتيرنج opportunities تاعتهم، ولكن عشان الكوفيد ما في كتير فولنتيرنج مفتوح، ولكن بالعادة بيكون في كتير أشياء، فهذا هو اليوث. فهون في كاناتا ريكريشن، في هون كل هاي الأشياء اللي ممكن تعملها volunteering.
بس كان بدي أحط على نقطة. مريم تحكي كتير عن المساجد، كيف عندهم كتير volunteering positions و volunteering opportunities. المسجد مع إنه هو بيعطي الفاندنج لكتير programs. البروجرامز مش شرط إنها تكون Muslim like يكون فيها any Islamic initiative. صح مسلمين بيقدروا يكونوا ماسكينها زي for example سدرة مسلمين ماسكينها، بس ما بنحط الريليجن مع الأولاد. يعني ممكن أي حدا عنا إحنا Christians وفي atheists it doesn't matter أنت إيش الريليجن تبعك. Anyone's allowed volunteering or anyone's allowed كمان being a participant even though they are masjid funded.
Yeah. Like نفس الحاجة.
هي هون زي ما جمان حكت هون هي ال OMA لا سوري ال United Muslim Organization هم كانوا عاملين COVID-19 relief. فهي هون relief they are providing food items, non-perishables. حدا يروح يتسوق لك أو ياخذ لك الأشياء اللي أنت محتاجها بس مش قادر تطلع، إذا محتاج طبخ أو حتى إذا محتاج بس إنك تحكي مع حدا. يعني أشياء ما في إلها لينك للإسلام، عادي ممكن أي جهة تعملها، فحتى غير المسلم ممكن يروح يتطوع مع مساجد. مريم، احكي لنا شوية عن الدايركتور بوزيشن اللي أنت عندك إياه في ال OMA، كيف وصلتي له؟
So عشان أنا لما أجيت على أروى تاني في 2016، أول حاجة عملتها عشان كنت بالسعودية ما كانش في حاجات تطوع هناك، ف I missed it a lot. فلما رجعت على أروى، أول حاجة رحت عليها هو على الأروى ماسك. فرحت سألتهم like if they need any help or any of that، وبدأت أشتغل معاهم. And then لما بدأ الموقف سدرة عملناها. We've been running it for this whole time الحمد لله. This year I was asked by someone that works at the mosque if I wanted to join it, and I thought about it for a while, and then I said yes, and I pushed for it alhamdulillah. And then Mu'min also, who does Sidra with me, also decided to join the board. So I think so me, Mu'min, and this other guy called Muhammad Aswad were three people in our 20s on a board where, like in general in masajid boards, there aren't young people. So we got this position basically like Rabbana yassirha, and it's like such a lucky opportunity. It's such like a huge opportunity that we're just like praying that inshallah we can do the best that we can from it. So we were asked, but it was because of like years of being in the community, if that makes sense.
Okay. So you've got your OMA director position, you've got co-director of Treehouse, you're also currently running the relief team for COVID-19 for Umoji. and you also were working with the government in the summer, and you're starting again this thing. So those are four main positions. How do you handle the stress?
Juman's laughing because she knows that I don't handle the stress. Um, Honestly, I do all of the work that I do it with my friends. So a lot of the time, people need to balance social life, family life, and then work and school. So what I did is that I kind of merged my social life with volunteering. So مثلا Juman's like, do you want to hang out? I'm like, yeah, we're gonna go buy some supplies for Sidra right now. Like, yeah, we'll go hang out, but we're gonna go do this while we're doing it.
Nice
Um,
evening
and
plan.
then yeah, and she honestly,
They're
subhanallah,
morning fun.
we've known each other since grade 12, and honestly, she's always down. Like no matter what I tell her, and she's always dragging me whenever I like start to get lazy. She's like, no, get up, you're gonna do this right now. So I do it by, first of all, by having Jiman in my life, having a very very supportive family, alhamdulillah, like a family that understands that I love to work and I love to do this stuff. So they're always encouraging me and they're very proud of me, alhamdulillah. And I do it with a bunch of like papers and pencils, just constantly writing down lists of stuff that I have to do, losing that list, and then writing a new list. So yeah, it's trying to do time management skills and then also having a very good support system, alhamdulillah.
What do you tell people about that support system? لأنه أنا بعرف a lot of
This is what I would say to them
okay,
because
there's just one thing.
yeah.
بعرف كثير أهالي وللأسف هذا كثير بلاقيه بالمجتمع العربي unfortunately. بس في كثير مرات بشوف إنه parents yes بيحكوا لكم روحوا اعملوا volunteering ساعدوا بالمجتمع ما بعرف إيش. ولما تبلشوا أنا بعرف كثير أهالي بيحكوا لأولادهم رايح تساعد رايح تعمل volunteering بس ما عم تعمل معي dishes مع إنهم like صح مريم قالت بلشوا بالبيت ساعدوا بالبيت بس مش معناته بس تعملوا أشياء البيت لأنه إذا بس بدكم تعملوا أشياء البيت ما حيكون في وقت تعملوا أي شيء ثاني. trust me شغل البيت كثير. so
So I would say you're gonna find your support system at volunteering. Like that's where I found like my closest friends, where I basically developed my entire social life. Like aside from Juman, every other friend that I've made is through volunteering. So
and work.
yeah, and work. Alhamdulillah.
يعني أنا بسمع عن كل هاي الأشياء اللي أنتِ قاعدة بتحكيها، ويعني شكلها كانت رحلة طويلة جدًا، فإيش بتتمني إنِّك كنتِ تعرفي قبل ما تبدئي؟
That's a
Take your
very good
time.
question. Thank you. um, Something that I wish that I knew is that people that you work with are gonna come and go, and that they're not like the be all end all. يعني أنا كنت بتضايق جدا لما حد like disagree with me إني يفتكر إن أنا غلطانة or يكون زعلان مني في volunteering. يعني مثلا I sent out a newsletter last week and it had a mistake. It went out to 800 people and it had a mistake in it. And then I had to send out a correction email. And I was just having a panic attack while this was happening. So something that's important to know is that um, people's opinions and people that you work with, you need to put them in high regard, but they're not everything. So لو حد زعل منك, like they're not زعلان منك like that and they hate you and everything. It's easy to disagree with someone and still continue working with them. So I think I wish I told that to my younger self because I used to think if someone said no to me or disagreed with me, I would think that they hated me, they never wanted to talk to me again, and I would avoid them for as much as I can. But no, it's very important that if you disagree with someone, you should be able to continue working with them.
not only if you disagree. Okay, what if you have problems like actual problems? I can't give examples بس لو عندكم عن جد مشكلة مع حدا
Mhm.
um
So
like عندكم مشكلة وإجا موقف وين انتوا الاثنين عم بتساعدوا بهالبروجرام أو هالشيء.
yeah, so
How
it's
do you
just
deal with it?
I would like something that I always have to remind myself إن إحنا بنعمل الأشياء دي عشان ربنا مش عشان الناس. But if people are getting on your nerves and are not agreeing with you and are maybe even hurting you at times, المفروض أنت تفتكر like you're not here to please them. You're not here to help them. You're here to work as best as you can. Try to make them not feel upset from you anymore, and just do all of it for Rabbina. So because in volunteering, whenever you're in leadership positions, it's very easy for people to disagree. And when you're disagreeing against someone who's your own age or someone who's the opposite gender, someone who's older than you, it's all different reactions, and it's very important to know that it has nothing to do with you. It's just people can disagree and continue to work together. So yeah.
And personal relationships, if you guys have personal problems,
Don't-
nothing to do with
Yeah.
disagreements.
And no, I would say don't bring that into the work that you're doing.
Don't bring it into
How do you keep it separate?
So my friends that volunteer with me, obviously, yeah, you argue with your friends. That's completely normal from time to time. But something that I really respect from them, and what I respect from, and what I really admire is that, like, we put everything aside and try to finish the project that we have to do in that moment, because who you're helping and what you're trying to do is so much more important than, for example, oh my god, she didn't answer my text message and she has been ignoring me for 2 days, so she hates me. Like, that is so unimportant compared to what you actually have to do. So for some people it's hard to understand that, and for some people it's easy to bring like personal matters into volunteering. But the minute that you bring it in, just know that maybe you're not doing it for the right reasons anymore. Maybe the environment that you're in is wrong. Maybe you need to remove yourself from that environment. So I think even for people that have personal links with work, مثلا you're friends with someone that you work with, you need to be able to separate the work that you're doing and how important it is to um, to a small fight that you're having outside of it. It's
إيش
easier said than
برأيك؟
done.
مم. إيش برأيك كان واحد من أكبر المشاكل اللي تعرضتي لها وأنت قاعدة في الفولنتيرنج تاعك خلال رحلتك هاي كلها؟ إيش كان أكبر مشكلة تعرضتي لها؟
أكبر مشكلة I'm trying to think.
في مشاكل كتير.
There's like little issues. There's little issues that I tend to forget about them after they happen, because they're not like so important that they like ruin my day or ruin, like I've messed up so many times in volunteering. مثلا I send out the wrong message. I do a whole project and then it turns out to be wrong and I wasted 8 hours of it on my life just on this one project. Like I didn't sleep or any of that. Um, but I think one of the biggest challenges or problems that I had in volunteering is communication. I feel and الطريقة اللي أنت تتعامل مع الناس, because I have a problem saying no to people. So if someone asks me to do something, I'll do it, and then someone else asks me to do something, I'll do it, and then
You won't do what you have to do.
yeah, and then I
So you're
tend
like
to
the
forget.
perfect volunteer, but for everyone else.
I tend to forget my priorities a lot. So, for example, I'll do everything that I have to do outside, and then I'll come home and I'll be like, oh, I didn't even talk to my mom today. And then I'll feel so bad because,
Or
like,
you
my
didn't
mom,
even eat.
yeah, I didn't even eat. I didn't even like sleep the 6 hours or whatever that I have to sleep. So it's that's one of
It's
the biggest
sounding more like a
challenges.
job.
The thing is, I treat every position that I'm in like it's a job. I don't believe that just because it's unpaid work it's not important. Yani, it's work that needs to be done and people can't afford to pay for it. That's why you have to be there. So
Mhm.
yeah, I just tend to overwork
But like
myself and
even with
forget.
jobs, you shouldn't overstress yourself to the level you forget eating. So don't be like Mariem in that sense.
I just I forget. It's easy to block out everything and then just focus on what you're doing. So it's not like I'm purposely being like I'm not going to eat right now to save 5 minutes to continue doing this. It's like I completely forget that food exists for this like 8 hour time period. So I feel like if you overwork yourself sometimes, you'll get to that point. And I'm sure people feel that when they're studying for exams, مثلا, or they're starting off at a new job and they're trying to impress their boss. It's easy to forget everything. And
Which is why it's important to have that support system.
yeah, to remind you and bahdil you when you forget to eat.
Okay, really important question. Did you eat today?
Yes, alhamdulillah. Yeah, I did. What did I eat? Yeah, I ate A&W. Alhamdulillah.
Nice. Um, Now we've talked about the past. What are your plans for the future? Where do you see yourself in 5 years?
Um,
Or not even in
inshallah.
5 years. Like, what are your plans for the 5 years?
So something that I want to do and that I'm working on with Mu'min, who works with me at Sidra, is I want to make sure that that Sidra or Treehouse or some version of the program is available to people all over Canada. So I want to try to push it aside from just Ottawa and just bring it to the rest of Canada if possible, inshallah. The second thing is that I would love if the masjid that I'm currently working at, Ottawa Mosque, if it became more of like a community, a place where the whole community gathers again. Because I feel like masajid have become a place where we just come to pray and then leave. And we come once Friday if we do go for Friday, and then khalas. I want to bring it back to a place where everyone can find something for them to do there.
So like a community center.
Like a community center, the way that it's intended. So I want to work on that, inshallah. I think those are my two main goals. They don't they don't sound that much, but also want to graduate, inshallah. That's somewhere on the list. And yeah, that's it, inshallah.
You compared volunteering. Sorry. You said that you wanted to transform the masjid from a place just for people to pray into an actual community center like it used to be. And that reminded me of something when you were talking about the Jum'ah prayer. It reminded me of the underrepresentation of women in the mosque. What are the demographics of volunteering that you come across? Are there some groups that are underrepresented? Are some that are overrepresented? What do you think about that?
Is it only groups as in?
So for Sidra, alhamdulillah, because I'm co-director with Mu'min, it's like 80% girls. So that's an overrepresentation of females. But in majority of organizations that I've joined, it's mostly males. It's mostly men that are in charge.
Mm-hmm.
And on the board, I think I'm one of 2 women or 3 women. And then when I used to be part of the MSA, I was one of 2 girls as well. So there's always like an overrepresentation of men and then an underrepresentation of girls.
So from what I understand, is in specifically Muslim parts is where there's an overrepresentation of men.
Yeah, I feel, but the thing is, even if you look at
I don't think it's an Islamic thing. I feel like it's a cultural thing.
Yeah, it's not
Muslims.
Yeah, in general, there's always more men in leading positions, and that's why it's very important for women and then women of color and then Muslim women of color to push ourselves in these positions, because at first they might not respect your opinion the same as they would their other like male counterparts, but when you start to show like your work ethic and you start to show your ideas and your commitment, then your opinion becomes valuable and it even gets like put in even higher regard sometimes, like it's happened before in a different organization. So yeah, it's right now on the board, because I'm the youngest female. It's going to take some time, but inshallah, I feel like next time when there's a board opening, I feel like more women will apply, inshallah.
Okay, so you're talking about male gender. What about
Juman, can you raise your voice?
Oh, sorry. Is there anything with ethnicity that you would like to mention? Like, is there an overrepresentation, underrepresentation? Is there any sort of racism within, not like the mosque specifically, but like around? Like, how do you regard that in volunteering positions?
So I've only ever volunteered with Muslim organizations. So from what I could tell, there isn't a race problem or like an overrepresentation. I know that I'm trying to think of like demographics of volunteering positions that I was in before, but I might not be in a position to comment on that, because sometimes Arabs tend to be like the most people represented. So I feel like I shouldn't really comment on that. But
well, no, not only Arabs. What about like within Arab communities? There is racism between countries.
Oh, you're saying like how Egyptians are like okay.
Not specifically Egyptians, just like different. Like
Okay, reminder to all our viewers, رأي الضيف لا يمثل رأي القناة.
No, I'm sometimes I know sometimes majority of the time I'm the only Egyptian there. Is that what you're asking? I
Is that the
don't know.
case?
Yeah.
I know you volunteer with a lot of
Except for
Egyptians.
Sidra, there's a lot of Egyptians in Sidra. Okay, no, sorry, that's my answer. I'm sorry. I haven't really thought about this, so I can't give a full blown answer. Sorry.
Do you think this representation matters?
Or just all together? It doesn't matter which country you're from.
Yeah, I don't ever look at someone and be like, you're from.
I know we don't, but have you ever like?
No, I don't think no one has ever looked at me and said like you're Egyptian and I won't value your opinion.
Okay, but like being the only, you said that you're usually the only Egyptian in the place. How does that make you feel, being the only one that shares that culture? Well, you're not really sharing it with anyone because you're the only one. But how does it feel?
It's okay. I eat the kushari by myself. It's totally fine. No, I actually don't. I don't really think about it, to be honest. It's because in Canada, I feel like something very beautiful about Canada is that we're very multicultural. So for me, what I see is like I see someone else that came from a different country and is trying to do the best that they can. So then I never really like look closely like, hey, where are you from Egypt? Well, you're from this city, well, I'm from that city. I'm not gonna talk to you. Like no one does that here from what I experience. I'm sure that it exists.
We still learn. Like you ask, we have this habit of نسأل الواحد like أنت من وين? Like we like knowing الواحد من وين. But that's not because حنشوفه بأي طريقة غير بس هو لأنه إحنا بنحب الكولتشرز بالذات like أحكي عن حالي أنا كتير بحب أتعلم عن الكولتشرز التانيين so في عندي habit إنه لما أشوف حدا like بسأله أنت من وين I know you're Canadian okay أنا Canadian كمان بس بدي أعرف أنت من وين بدي أعرف your history بدي أعرف like في عندكم أكل حلو علمني أطبخ أكلك يعني عادي so yeah
Okay.
Did we ask you about any major setbacks you had?
Yeah, he asked me already.
No, but those are like small problems. Is there something very like you really, really wanted to do something and it didn't work out? I have one thing in mind.
You do?
Second branch of Sidra.
Oh, it's because of COVID though.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But it is.
No, so we were planning to open a secondary location for Sidra in Ottawa this year, but then because of COVID, it had to be pushed till afterwards. So also we planned Islam Awareness Week for months on end, and then it got canceled again. It got canceled because of COVID. So inshallah, like when this all passes, we're like I've forgotten about it, but inshallah, there's always gonna be setbacks, but you can't let that stop you.
So there's that. Yeah, I'm kind of lost. I mean, that or
Okay, sorry about that. Just something I had to deal with.
It's fine. Is there anything you would like to say to the audience? Also, في ناس صغار بالعمر في ناس كبار بالعمر في إشي بدك تحكي لهم؟
Something that I would say is don't be hard on yourself and try like if you feel that initiative inside of you, if you feel like you want to do more and you want to push yourself to do more, start with the closest thing, which is your home. Start by like just go ask your mom or ask your dad like what can you help them with, and you're gonna make their day. You're gonna make them so happy, and nothing is more important than your mom and your dad's happiness like ever in the world. So start with your parents, and then as soon as that happens, if you feel like that was good, that was happy for you, then look forward. See, like for example, you want to make sandwiches and hand them out. Look for a program that does that. You want to help organize clothes for homeless people that don't have changes of clothes. Go look for that. Just whenever you're feeling it, take an action at that moment, because then there's a very easy tendency to get lazy in between the feeling and the action. So yeah.
And parents لأهالي كمان إذا شفت هذه اللايت بابنك هذا الفاير مش لايت هذا like من جواتهم إنهم بدهم يعملوا volunteering بدهم يساعدوا حاول أنت ساعدهم كمان مش بس تحكي لهم أوكي روحوا اعملوها بس حاول إذا شفت إنه
go with them.
روح معهم،
Go with
لا
them.
لاقي اشياء. حتى احكي لك في sometimes kids don't want to be with their parents, especially like high schoolers.
Yeah.
لاقي لهم برنامج ممكن هن يعملوا فيه volunteering ووصلهم.
Yeah.
go drop them off, pick them up، خليهم ياخذوا راحتهم وساعدوهم بانهم يعملوها. لو بدهم يروحوا volunteering معكم، لاقوا إشي ممكن تعملوها as a family. لو حتى لو انتم بدكم تعملوا initiative، لو انتم بدكم تشتروا للبيت تجيبوا توست تشيز واشياء وتعملوا small lunch bags تروحوا توزعوها للناس، كمان تقدروا تعملوها. right? Is that legal?
Yeah, it's legal.
أوكي، شكرا جدا مريم لوجودك معنا اليوم، وإحنا استمتعنا كتير معاكي. ويعني بعد الحلقة بتمنى إنك تبعتي لي اللينكس اللي كنتي بدك تفرجيها للأودينس، عشان إحنا نقدر نحطها كمان على على القناة، ونعرف الناس بالكوفيد ريليف اللي أنتم بتعملوه، لأنه شيء يعني جدا رائع، وإحنا بنحب نساعدكم هيك.
Sounds good. Thank you so much for having me.
يوك. شكرا جدا أعزائي مشاهدين متابعتكم، ونراكم في الحلقة القادمة الأسبوع القادم.